Today I'm gonna break down how me and Callum made the most searched Linkin Park instrumental in 2025 that sounds like this. So if we go on YouTube and type Linkin Park type beat and filter by view count on this year, we get these results. The first one is just an ad, the second one is a sample breakdown of Faint, and then we actually have the Linkin Park type beats, and you see that the first one is the one that we're going to break down today, which is from my channel. This beat has also generated around $2,500 in non-exclusive list sales on BeatStars platform, and it's still not sold exclusively, so me and Callum continue getting sales from it. So let's start breaking it down. Here is the intro. For this beat I started with this guitar riff. This is actually interesting because this guitar with this delay effect is not something that Linkin Park have ever done in any of their songs or intros, at least as far as I know. However, people who are searching for Linkin Park type beats seem to like it, so I guess it worked. For the amp, I used my Neural DSP Quad Cortex capture of this preset of Archetype Pliny that you can download for free in the description. And for the effects, I used my Fractal Audio FM3, my UAD pedals, and I also filtered the whole thing with this EQ right here. After recording this guitar, I layered it with this piano. For the piano I used noir felt keys and I just added a little bit more reverb and also this EQ right here. And then to make it nice and full I added this wrist bass from my Serum preset pack. And for this whole part I did this EQ automation on the master. You see how this EQ automation makes it sound a lot more interesting and creates some anticipation as the song goes in. And now we go to the second part of the intro. The first thing that I added are these filtered octaves. These filtered octaves give exactly this Linkin Park type of vibe. This is something that Linkin Park have been using in so many of their songs. For the amp I used this preset right here that you can download for free in the description, and I also filtered it with this EQ. And I also did this reverb automation to make it blend nicely with the next part. For this part I also added all these drums and scratches. First I found this scratches loop from Looperman and I rearranged it and made it sound like this. And then I also created this electronic drum loop with my own samples. And the very last thing that I added for this part are these transition sounds. So let's listen now to the whole intro and how it leads into the verse. So now we go into the verse, and this is where my collaborator Kala comes in. The whole idea behind the rhythm of the verse and also behind the whole structure of this beat was actually from this beat that we posted a while ago on my channel. And as you can see right here, this beat got around 200,000 views, so I thought of replicating it in a little bit different way, and it seems it worked out. So for the verse, the first thing that I started were actually the drums. And for the drums I used my own drums VST IOF drummer. Let's see the pattern and how it sounds. You see there are a bunch of ghost notes in the snare and also in the kick sometimes, which creates again this Linkin Park type of feel. For the mixing on the drums, I didn't do a lot, as you can see the kick is 100% dry. For the cymbals, I did this tiny EQ to tame a little bit the high frequencies, and I also added these compressors to compress the whole playing. For the hats, I did pretty much the same EQ. And again, these same effects with the cymbals. For the snare, I just added a tiny bit more reverb. We did 7% on this one, 5% on this one, and 5% on this one. For the toms, I used this compressor to compress the whole playing together, and all the drums go to the drum bus where I did this tiny bit of processing, and all together it sounds like this. However, let's also listen to them 100% dry so we see the difference. So you see the difference is that the snare has a little bit more reverb and also there is a little bit more bounce on the playing because of the compressors. That's it with the drums for the verse. The next thing that I added was actually the bass guitar. Again, this rhythm is screaming Linkin Park. Let's see how the drums and bass sound together. Yeah, it literally can't be more Linkin Park than that. For the bass, as you can see, I'm reamming it 5 times. You can find one of the bass presets that I'm using for free in the description. And for all you guitar nerds, you can find all the tabs in the description as well. For this part, I also added this clean guitar. Again, you can find the preset that I use in the description. So with everything until now, it sounds like this. But I actually felt that something is missing, so I added this layer. This layer is actually the intro guitar riff, but it's in half speed and also filtered like crazy with this filter, so it makes the whole thing sound a little bit more digital if I were to describe it, and gives even more of this Linkin Park type of vibe. And for the second part of the verse, I wanted to make it even more interesting and add even more things as it goes, so I recorded these ambient swells with my guitar, playing with a volume knob and with a ton of reverb. So let's see now how the whole verse sounds together until we go to the pre-chorus. Here we go to the pre-chorus, the drums stay pretty much the same with the verse. But what changes is actually the whole chord progression in the guitars, bass and everything. For the guitar, the new chord progression goes like that. The bass of course is following the guitar. Then we also added these palm mutes. And notice how in the end the dynamics got stronger and the playing more open. These ambient swells of course continue playing in this part too. We also added again this scratch noise loop from the intro to make it even more Linkin Park sounding. And the last thing that I added is this guitar. And this guitar is acting as a harmony and also as an answer to the main guitar. So you see again, this guitar makes it a lot more interesting and creates a lot more tension, and without actually being too much for the listener. Also at the end of this part we introduce these grasses and this little tom fill that create even more anticipation and make the chorus feel even bigger when it hits. Let's listen to the whole pre-chorus and how it comes into the chorus. So in the chorus, again we have a different chord progression, but before going to that, let's see this transition sound that we have here. And this in combination with some natural harmonics on the distorted guitar, they actually lead nicely to a huge Linkin Park hook. So for the hook, let's start with the distorted guitar. Then I came up with this octaves melody over the rhythm guitar. And together they sound like this. Then I recorded the bass pretty much following the rhythm guitars. And a little sloppy editing here, forgive me for that. Then I also recorded the main clean guitar following this chord progression. Let's see how everything sounds until now. It already sounds pretty full, but I wanted it to sound even fuller, so I added also these layers. This layer is pretty much following this octaves layer. You see that it's making this melody sound even bigger, and then I also added the same melody an octave higher again with tons of reverb. I couldn't go higher on the guitar, so I played this note an octave lower, and I also added this guitar that is not even noticeable. So yeah, that was everything with the guitars, finally. Then I added this different wrist bass again from my Serum preset pack. Let's see how all these guitars, the bass and this wrist bass sound together. You see, now I think they sound big enough, we wouldn't need more layers than that, we're fine. Then I added these scratch sounds that were playing in all the previous parts. And finally we go to the drums that sound like this. The pattern on the kick and the snare is pretty much the same with the verse. The only thing that changes is that now we have the crash hitting, and at the end it's following the chugs on the rhythm guitar. So let's listen to the whole hook and how it leads to the second verse. So, before the second verse hits, I added again this drum loop that I had on the intro to create this nice transition between these parts. And also this little drop on the bass. Then for the second verse, second pre-chorus and second hook, they all repeat from the first part. The only difference is that the verse is a little bit smaller. I will just play the full thing from the first chorus to the second chorus and to the bridge. So now we go to the bridge. Again we have a different chord progression for the bridge. Let's start with the distorted rhythm guitar. Then I recorded the bass following the rhythm guitar. Then I also recorded this octave melody. You see that the left and right guitar do not follow exactly each other, but I just recorded it like that and it sounded cool, so I just kept it. So let's see how all these layers sound together until now. So it sounds nice and full, but I still felt that something was missing from there. So I added this layer. Which is actually the intro theme just pitched up an octave. And let's see now how the melodic layers for this part sound together with this guitar. You see, it's acting like a synth, giving more depth to this part and make it sound even fuller and nicer. And let's go to the drums now. For the drums, we changed the pattern a little bit for this part. also have this tom fill at the end, and let's see now how this whole part sounds together. So after the bridge we have this break here before the chorus hits again, and what we do is we kinda imitate the intro. We have the intro theme playing. We have the intro riff bass playing behind it. We also have the scratch loop and all the electronic drums from the intro. And for the first part, we add this filtered distorted guitar that plays only from the one side. You see the little detail at the end. These things actually matter a lot in getting an authentic vibe and not sounding like just type beats. And for the second part of this break, we also add this octave lead again. And let's listen to the whole break and to the final hook. So that was everything for this video. I also made a fuller video on my producer course where I go through all the mixing chains and the mastering chain as well. And you will also find a lot of other cool stuff on my producer course, like a business course for producers, my drums VST, my serum presets, electronic drums, and a ton more. Just go and check it. And don't forget to download all the free stuff from the description. I hope you really liked this one. It's actually one of my favorite instrumentals that I've ever made. So yeah, I'll see you in the next ones.